Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? I'm Duncan Gaming, the leader of the red team. That's right, everybody. I am Duncan Gaming, y'all, and welcome back to another brand new video. And yes, once again, we are back to pretty much what we're going to be doing right now, and just give you guys the detailed news, by the way, that also YouTube's AI. Actually, by the way, I want to say this question, by the way, is that it didn't pretty much affect pretty much my channel or whatsoever, or anybody's channels for that matter, which I have to say I'm like, that is like so interesting. That's like weird and interesting at the same time, which I have to say it's not least of an insult, but this is just like a little less of an insult to say it, but all I'm saying is that the good news is that we are still going to be on YouTube for how long we're ever going to be on. But there are like three speculations I probably will explain here throughout the video exactly for what's going to really go on exactly. Which I mean, trust me, it's just probably going to be so much like that. But let's just stick with the positive right now before we even jump back to the next part of it. But the good news, everybody, I also want to explain this question, by the way, is that I'm by the way, wanting to say this question is that, well, to tell you guys the truth and tell you guys what exactly that I'll still make content for the channel, exactly on my Duncan Gaming channel, is that I'll tell you guys what, that by the way, I probably am still like finishing with Total Drama, Total Drama World Tour simulator that I'm still making. That's right, that I'm still making right now. Which, by the way, I actually want to let you all know, by the way, is that I probably am still working on a few eliminations to see who probably gets eliminated next, by the way, which will still remain like a few people left on the plane exactly that remain left exactly, which, by the way, I probably have to say this to be honest with y'all, by the way, that this is going to get really, really interesting to see who gets eliminated next, which, by the way, that's going to probably be for another excitement and probably will be at least a bit of another interesting way to do it. But, just in fact, I'm probably am selecting to see who might be the next winner. Exactly, the probably for something who have never won, by the way, of the simulator of mine, which I'm probably am still doing currently right now with the simulator. Which, by the way, I'm still yet again trying to see if I can try to at least get season 3 a little bit wrapped up as I can and have it all the way finished to see who announcedly likely to get the winner, exactly to be the completely to be the winner. So that, by the way, we're just going to find out, see who, by the way, is going to be the winner. And also remember, there won't be any repeat winners, by the way, that there probably will be no repeat, or pretty much likely to have the same winner that wins twice. That probably will still not count, because, by the way, in every Total Drama, it never happens, by the way, because it just doesn't work that way, because we have to just like let a new person win the money and then just keep doing it like a life cycle exactly the whole time, like every life cycle that plays it. So that's pretty much how that makes sense. So just want to give a little bit of some anybody a little bit of facts for a little bit for that reason. So there you go. And then pretty much I just say again that I said so. That's pretty much what I can say. So thank you. And then another thing I also want to be briefly mentioning, by the way, is with having like two separate dimensional worlds right now that I was trying to finish up with, by the way, that there are like a few things that remains to continue left, exactly that remains, I don't know, with my red team dealing with something exactly what was even going on with the expected pretty much to leave the team thing that's going on exactly with my red team recently that's going on. But that, by the way, remains to be a little bit unseen for a while before I actually will still continue fully releasing it, but whatever. So that's probably going to be another thing too, exactly with that one that adds for a number for another number. And then also for the next one too is with blue team versus green team that I'm actually still initially working with, which, by the way, I did got a little lazy by making the whole thing with it, by the way, which I'll still come back to make that idea finished right now, just to make the video. Which, like I said, it's going to take a while for me to continue with still the fight scenes while they're still at the control point at the factory, a little bit outside the battlegrounds, which they're probably still battling right now with blue and green facing off, but whatever. The next point, too, by the way, I'll also be briefly saying is that, yes, pretty much Bat Soldier Man and Scout Robin series of mine will still continue exactly to face Two-Face Medic and a few other thugs that are pretty much left to be taken care of, which, Yeah, I know. It's going to pretty much be a little bit of a suicide gunpoint thing, exactly that Bat Soldier Man might have to do to save Commissioner Engineer Gordon before he gets shot by Two-Face Medic, exactly. Which, by the way, that's going to be something that might be a little bit serious for some viewers that might go on, exactly. But, like I said, that project will still continue to finish and get most of that happening. But, like I said, it takes time to have it finished, and it takes time to have every single voice scripted and have most of them in. But like I said, it takes a while to have it up and stuff. But you know me exactly, because like I said, I've always taken time and the pleasure to get some videos in, even if it is the best or not so much great. But I still at least get trying at the end of the day to continue. So that's all I will say. Like, never give up. Just figure out what you got to figure out next and just see what you got to do. That's all I probably would do every single day. Even if, like I said, I do carry on with like the few split things, I'll probably be splitting on a few things to be split exactly on most occasion episodes. Exactly, I still do on like the seasons of mine that I still recently continue. So that's probably what my point would be. So let's jump out to the next one. So the next one is pretty much the protest that YouTube might be expecting outside, that there's going to be a lots of people of the protest outside, which, like I said, it may be happening later on, but just remember it's not now. It might be a later on of what's going on, but if I were myself already, I probably would say that, yeah, it might be a little bit of a good idea, but just remember to make it a little bit more convincing. However, just to pretty much bring up with the old CEO, which I think pretty much Susan wouldn't want to have any of this AI crap to begin with either, which, like I said, I'm not sure how that pretty much would be the possible thing to do, but that's probably what would be a little bit less possible to have, but whatever. But I mean, it is what it is with the Clippies, exactly with the invasions that's probably going on with it anyways. But this is a little bit of a good thing too, exactly to have the Clippy to probably be insisting most of everybody to pretty much stop with the AI stuff and have it gone. Just have it a little bit disappeared, pretty much by YouTube's AI only. But that's pretty much a debate that's only a bit different. But that's what I'm saying. So let's get to the next point too, exactly by jumping to the next one. That if it still ever does continue on with the AI that still resumes to continue on for exactly, then there probably might be a lawsuit that might be involved with YouTube, exactly, that they might lose money over this, which, yeah, they might have to be careful what they're going to do, because trust me, I mean, it's just a little bit bad, because when it's a little bad, it means it's not going to look that pretty well to have anything like that. It just is not pretty good, man. It really isn't that good. Which, if I were myself, it kind of doesn't look the best idea to do. So, mm, not the best. Really, not pretty much the good thing to go on for. But that probably, like I said, is not going to look too good for YouTube if that continues on and keeps on being there exactly for the whole website exactly for still being there. But we'll find out and see for further otherwise, exactly that we'll see, but whatever. So the next thing too, by the way, is the next thing that what might happen with number three, and I was also about to say exactly, is that I was mentioning about like change.org.com, but if any of you are similar to know what change.org.com is, that you might have to like fill in for something and just might have to like, I don't know, fill in for like a petition or exactly, which sometimes I can't get the word right. So again, don't blame me if I can't get the word right, which at least I still tried getting the word right, so it wasn't my fault to say that. But like I said, if you definitely fill in with that, by the way, by receiving to go in there exactly and just save the website, because we might have to do the difference thing, because we might have to make a difference and have a voice to change exactly to fix the website and pretty much have YouTube to automatically have the AI turned off exactly for most everybody, which we have to reach all the way to the goal by the end of September 4th, which we might have to end pretty much saving YouTube, which we might have to do that, because the only chances right now that we have to do is pray to God and hopefully things remain to stay pretty good exactly, and hope things remain to stay in a good point, which we all have to do that, because we have to just like, I don't know, give a bit of a pray for God for a bit, which even if some people do or don't feel like praying to do that exactly, that's fine, which that's what we all do exactly for sometimes, is that we may do or don't have to do that sometimes. But on some occasions we might have to be aware of it as soon as possible, but we just might have to do what we got to do is for our best, but whatever. So anyways, I'm Duncan Gaming speaking, and yes, I'll pretty much get back to my regular voice soon and some points of other videos, which you guys might hear me again as myself as Duncan Gaming, the leader of the red team, and pretty much the leader of the demolition team exactly, with pretty much the red initials exactly, but of the red icons, pretty much. So without further ado, like always, everyone, that I'm Duncan Gaming, and this is just a video. I want to probably say that, oh yeah, we are definitely back in the run exactly to make more videos on this channel of Duncan Gaming, which, oh yes, by the way, we will definitely continue on with pretty much the three things that would stay at the same story, but this time it would remain split exactly the three stories that we will continue. Is pretty much with the green team taking on blue team, which they're still going to keep fighting for the control points exactly, which don't worry, I'll still have that memorized as I can to look through back at the video from video to video, which I might still look back at some exactly to probably see what's next and see which one's going to fight who and who. And then as in for another thing too is don't worry about my red team, y'all. The red team, like I said, are going to probably deal with the problem exactly that might go on with Demoman and Pyro that pretty much have expectedly left the team exactly, and it's going to be a little bit of an unexpected twist, but we're going to see how that will play out exactly, which most of my red team might feel a little worried for their leaving exactly to be unexpected, but yeah, that probably would be a little bit of me mentioning that too. And for another thing too, is I also want to say, by the way, is that pretty much the Team Fortress 2 X Batman series that will still continue, that was still known to be as Bat Soldier Man and Scout Robin. Exactly, that will still continue on with the series. I'll still continue making. As long as they're facing against Two-Face Medic, which that's probably what they're doing right now, their primary mission that they're doing to finish off exactly. Just save the Commissioner Engineer Gordon without him being killed exactly, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that will play out too. And oh yes, as in for another thing too, before we also finish the video, is that I also want to say this for this question for people exactly, and for pretty much for everyone exactly, is remember in the comments who do you guys think who's gonna be the true winner of Total Drama World Tour Simulator? Is let me know who you guys think who's gonna actually get there to the biggest win of all time, and let me know who you guys think who's gonna win. But just remember, this, by the way, is only for the people who have never won the season, by the way. That I'm only just mentioning and bringing up. Is remember, is tell me in the comments who do you guys think who might win. Which that's fine with comments or no comments, that's fine to continue, but that's fine again, but whatever though. So without further ado, I'm Duncan Gaming. Thank you guys very much again for enjoying this video. Without further ado, I actually just want to talk about this video and just mention this anyway, and that's all I want to say. That yes, we pretty much are safe to continue to make more YouTube videos along the way. We're still safe to make more YouTube videos, which that's what I want to also mention this too exactly for some cases exactly to probably mention here. So without further ado, y'all, that I'm Duncan Gaming. Thank you guys again for being patient and very much for waiting. Which yes, we're still on the break exactly until YouTube reverses the AI exactly to pretty much have it all completely disappeared away off the platform for good, which that's what we are hoping to expect it. But like I said, go in and fill in for pretty much change.org.com exactly because that will still help exactly. Which, like I said, I'm not too sure if it may help, but it'll still help for a good worthy of cause exactly to save the website again. But that's probably what we should be expecting by any chance right now. So thank you guys again for watching. And without that being said, like always, is I'll see you absolutely again next time. Take care. Have an amazing day. Have an absolute amazing time and have a great amazing day. So without further ado, I'm Duncan Gaming, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Sign out. Peace out and goodbye. And see you guys absolutely for the next video. So thank you and signing off and signing out. Bye bye everyone. See you absolutely for the next video. Bye bye everyone and see you later.